Okay, so I'm going to begin a guided meditation for reducing stress, worry, and anxiety. I want to caution against trying to get rid of these things entirely. That wouldn't be possible. We as human beings are wired in a certain way to feel a wide range of emotions. So we want to be careful with our intentions. However, there are different tools we can use to greatly reduce the unnecessary stress, worry, and anxiety that we add to our lives. So if you could go ahead and get yourself in a comfortable seated position. Don't worry about trying to look like a meditator. Just find a sustainable position. So you can go ahead and take a big deep breath in, hold it, squeeze all of your muscles, all the muscles in your face, make fists, tighten everything, hold it, and then just let it all out. Release, let your breath out. And then you can choose an anchor. The most popular anchor is the breath. So you may concentrate on your breath, or you can choose to visualize a shape or a color, or you can just become aware of the sounds in the room. Imagine you've never heard these sounds before, and you're hearing them for the first time. So any thoughts that arise, you can just ignore them and come back to your anchor. You may wish to label these thoughts: planning, judgment, fantasy. And then just come back to your breath. And always remember that you are not your thoughts. The mind generates thoughts. That's what it does. And that's not you. And if you keep experiencing thoughts, that's okay. Just keep coming back to the breath. That's what this practice is. So the first thing to keep in mind about stress, anxiety, worry is that our bodies and our minds have been built to engage in these feelings and thoughts. That our minds are set up for prehistoric times when there were wild animals that were on the top of the food chain, and lifespans were much smaller. And it actually was appropriate to feel anxiety, to engage in fight, flight, or freeze. However, in most cases, now human beings don't have to worry about that like we did before. Yet we still have these minds that are set up for that situation. I find it very helpful to just be conscious of that. If you're at work and you have to give a presentation or there's a project, your body might react as if its life is in danger. And just becoming aware of that can give you some perspective. Oftentimes when we feel stress, we'll have stressful thoughts, and then we'll add to those stressful thoughts. And then that will create more physical sensations of stress. and it grows and it multiplies. Now, I don't think it's possible to totally get rid of every unpleasant emotion that we feel. In fact, I think it might be harmful to attempt to do that. That may lead to repression when we try to push down feelings, ignore them, push them away. They don't actually go away. And when they're not met, oftentimes that can create an ambient sense of dread or anxiety. So I don't recommend that. However, when we do feel stress or anxiety, we can make space for it. We can choose not to resist it. Because no feeling lasts forever, and no feeling is unbearable. Feelings arise and pass. They're constantly in flux. So when we give a feeling space, we let it be, it will naturally pass on its own. It's when we add thoughts that we prolong our pain. Of course, the mind will generate thoughts on its own. But if you drop those thoughts, if you choose to ignore them and just be with the feelings, I guarantee that you will significantly reduce your anxiety, your stress, your worry. And the more you practice this, the better you'll get at it. And when we are formally sitting, it's a great opportunity to practice these tools because we don't have, at least for the 20 or 30 minutes you're sitting and meditating, we don't have urgent responsibilities that we have to meet. You can use these tools in your everyday life. And they may be a little more complicated to utilize when you're at work and you have other things that you have to take care of. So meditation is a great practicing ground for regulating emotional stress and anxiety. Another thing to keep in mind is to check throughout the day if you are tightening any muscles, if you're holding tension, if your jaw is clenched, if your brow is furrowed. We can let go of that tension. We're going to reduce our stress over time. So every once in a while in your day, just check in with the body and make sure that you're relaxing all of that tension. Oftentimes we're very tense and we have no awareness of it. And sometimes just bringing into awareness where you are tightened, your body will just relax on its own. And by doing this, you're sending your body and mind a message that things are basically okay. We're not in serious danger right now. And your body will respond accordingly. It will not generate anxiety as much. Long out breaths are a very useful technique in reducing stress. In breaths are energizing, long, extended out breaths are relaxing. So if you're coping with stress and anxiety, I recommend any time in your day or during your meditation, extending your out breath. Another thing to consider is checking in with the body throughout the day to make sure that things don't escalate emotionally when they don't have to. So if you're not aware of your body and mind, then you might be more likely to be caught off guard and get a sudden, intense rush of anxiety because you didn't know that you had been feeling stress and anxiety. And it had been building and building, but you didn't have that conscious awareness. So if you can catch it early on before it builds and escalates, you can employ these tools and perhaps it won't be too late to prevent an intense bout of anxiety that isn't necessary. Additionally, if you can cultivate equanimity, a sense of being okay with how things are, even if that how things are is not your preference. Just acknowledging that the times when there's nothing you can do to change a situation, letting it be as it is and not trying to fight with reality, that can bring about peace and prevent unnecessary stress and worry. When there's nothing you can do about it, there's nothing you have to do about it. Equanimity, peace with the way things are. Anytime when there's a situation in life that isn't going the way you want it to go, challenge yourself. Ask yourself if you are adding resistance to this. Ask yourself, how would it feel to be accepting of the way things are exactly how they are? And see if anything changes. See if there's a shift in your level of stress. Of course, all of these tools are meant for you to test out and see if they work for you. And again, you can use these tools in your daily life or on the cushion when you're meditating and you have thoughts and feelings that arise. You can develop equanimity just by facing a difficult emotion when it or if it arises during your meditation. Being okay with it, even if it's not your preference to feel unpleasant emotions, not resisting it and welcoming it and accepting it as a part of life, a part of how things are. There will be pleasant emotions and there will be unpleasant emotions. So when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. You may want to look at the floor, something at the ground. Make sure to come back slowly so that you can take any peace or wisdom that you've cultivated with you into your daily life.